I like Tito Ortiz. I really do. But I truly, truly have no idea what he's doing. In fact, I have a pretty cool Tito Ortiz story. When I met him, dude was great to me. I mean, really, people's champ. I really don't think that this is a cash grab. I really think that, I like to hope that Tito Ortiz was smart enough with his money that he's not taking this fight for a financial benefit. I don't think he needs the money. I think he was intelligent. Punishment Athletics hopefully made him a ton of money. And he's doing this for pure passion. But at some point, you got to hang the gloves up and do something different. I hope he's doing all right financially. I assume he is. I think he just loves the sport this much. But at some point, you're turning into like a Ken Shamrock, who held on for far too long to the point where nobody would take fights with him. I just don't want to see Tito's legacy tarnished like that. Bah! Let's jump right in, if you will. Both feet. Let's go. My issue is Tito Ortiz is sticking around the world of mixed martial arts. Cool. But I thought he was way past his prime when he fought Ryan Bader. And we know how that fight ended. Surprised us. Okay? He Brendan Schaubed us, and we were surprised. Okay? Since then, he's kind of... Well, you can look. Go to Sheerdog. Sheerdog will tell you everything you need to know. I can go there, you can go there, we can go there. But let's discuss and not worry about times and dates and fights. Let's just discuss Tito Ortiz. Tito Ortiz got a huge win over Chuck Liddell. I believe a lot of Tito Ortiz's popularity is owed to Chuck Liddell. Their rivalry lit MMA, lit the UFC. I think they were very instrumental along with the Ultimate Fighter, but Chuck Liddell was insane. He had the mohawk, he had the tattoos on his skull. He was interesting, man. What you think a scary fighter should be, he was. It built a lot of hype. I remember I was watching a sports show on Fox or ESPN leading up to Chuck versus Tito 1. I didn't watch the UFC then. I didn't know anything about it then. That was the fight that pulled me back in. I remember 1993, the VHS. I had it. I own it still. But I had lost touch of it. I was in high school, maybe a year or two removed out of high school, and I was flipping stations, and I saw this guy with a mohawk talking insane to Tom Arnold, of all people, on a sports show. And he looked tough. He looked mean. And the way he built this rivalry was like nothing I'd ever seen before. He was going to hurt this guy. He was going to punch him out. I mean, immediately, I take my money, man. That's how hyped I got for this fight. Didn't know who either fighter was from Adam. But the way Chuck was talking on that sports show, I had to watch. The internet was a little bit rudimentary at the time. I got on and looked up everything I could find about these two fighters. And I jumped side. At the time, I was definitely a Chuck fan. He won me over from that interview that he did. I thought it was incredible. I really liked it. It hyped me up. I still get excited for that fight. Moving down the road, they fought for a second time. I was rooting for Chuck. I was a Chuck guy. Let's go, right? Who didn't like Chuck Liddell? So let's move way later in life after Chuck had retired. Tito gets his third shot at him. And at this point, I had met Tito, which I'll tell you guys a little bit about that in a little bit. I was rooting for Tito hard. I wanted Tito to get that win. Did I think it's going to rewrite history? No. Do I think he fought a shell of who Chuck Liddell used to be? Yes. Do I think Tito could beat Chuck in his prime? No. Do I think he got the job done with a shell version of Chuck after he stayed active this entire time? Yes. Nevertheless, Chuck laced up the gloves, stepped in the ring, and got beat to sleep. It's good for Tito. I, for one, couldn't have been happier. But I was hoping that that would be the nail in the coffin for Tito Ortiz. I thought that would be the feather in his cap, that he could ride away into the sunset, accomplish everything that he wanted to accomplish. He was a star. At one time, he was the biggest star in the UFC. What is there left to do? And then I find out he's fighting a WWE fighter. Why? How much training does this guy have? Who is this guy? I know that the WWE world and MMA are crossing over currently, but it hasn't crossed over for me. I don't know anything about the WWE. Has this guy trained before? Did he just start training? Was he an athlete in college? I don't know these things because I didn't Google them because I'm a lazy. And I'm hoping that some of you watching are going to do that research for me and tell me below in the comments. Then I will take you and run with it. I'm going to take your word and I'm going to run with it, okay? Tell me what you guys think. Are you interested for this fight? If so, why? Why do you want to see it? What is interesting about it? Should Tito let it go? Are his best days behind him? Does he have anything left to prove? Why is he taking this fight? I just don't get it. I mean, I don't know. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate all of you guys watching. Let me know if you want to see the story with Tito's action, or my interaction with him when I met him. Oh, you do? Oh, well then stay tuned. So, many of you will remember, maybe not everybody, but many of you will remember when Tito Ortiz managed Cris Cyborg. Anybody remember that? I do. Anybody else? He may still manage her. I don't know. But what I do know is on April 5th, 2013, I was in Kansas City working, and I was stuck at the Ameristar, Kansas City, for like 2 months for work. It was miserable. I lived in the hotel. Great property, great facility, but it's just tough being away from home. I'm not from Kansas City. I was real big into MMA. I did an MMA podcast back then with a guy named Ben McPhee for MMAfreak.com. It was super fun. It was super cool. And I really enjoyed it. It was where I first cut my teeth in podcasting, first cut my teeth in talking about MMA. While I was there, I had to be there over weekends, and my wife found out that there was going to be an Invicta fight, and she thought it would be cool to buy me tickets to the Invicta fight and go watch fights, because Cris Cyborg, someone that I had loved from the Strikeforce days, was going to be there and fight. There was actually a girl from my hometown that got an armbarred in like 12 or 15 seconds, 12 seconds, by Rose Namajunas, Thug Rose. It was a fight that Thug Rose was on an undercard and flying armbarred this girl in, I think, 12 seconds. Pretty sure. 12 or 15. 12. I'm going to go with 12. Cris Cyborg was the main event. No, not main event. Main event was Watterson versus Penny. Penny versus Watterson. Anyways, Cris Cyborg was awesome. She went there and destroyed. And I have a really cool story for that, too. I'll get to that. She fought Fiona Muxlow. I don't know. It was a really one-sided fight. I had really, really great tickets. I was sitting directly behind Mauro Ranallo and Julie Kedzie. You guys remember her? It was really cool. It was really cool. I was so close. I could reach out. I could touch those two. I have photos of me behind them. Their like heads are in the picture, and I'm taking pictures of the screen, or the ring rather. While the side note is I got to meet Cyborg. It was awesome. She had destroyed this girl in the first round. Destroyed her. She looked like a beast, okay? I am a pretty large guy. I'm 6'3". I got pretty big hands, okay? So I'm not a small guy. I was so close to the ring that when Cyborg was getting out of the ring, everybody rushes to the ring. Everybody wants to reach out and they want to touch Cyborg. They're all just reaching. Well, I've got really long arms and I was able to reach out. And she's slapping hands with a lot of people, and Cyborg and I had a moment. Okay? Moment of silence. Okay? We had a moment like that long. She's reaching up. She's slapping hands with everybody. She gets to my hand, and she locks fingers with me. She does. She locks fingers like this. She does this with me. She's like, bah, 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 bah. She's touching everybody's hand, reaches up to mine, and locks fingers. That was my moment with Cris Cyborg, okay? That was 2013, 2019. 6 years later, I'm still living in that moment. I held hands with Cris Cyborg. So, but what I remember was how strong her hands were. Like, oh my goodness. She was strong, and she had big hands. And she had the gloves on still, but I remember the size and her very, I'm telling you, man. She was awesome, though. I got to hold hands with her. I thought it was amazing. I've told everybody that story that I've held hands with Cris Cyborg. That's my Cris Cyborg story. She was so cool, too, man. She was so happy. She was so happy slapping everybody's hands. She was so great to the audience. Everyone bum rushes the aisle as she's walking through, and she's being so cool about it. It's nothing for her. She's just happy that people are happy to see her, and she's smiling really big and holds my hand. Have you held hands with Cris Cyborg? Didn't think so. Getting to the Tito Ortiz thing. He was her manager, and he was there. After the fight was over, we come out into the lobby area, and Tito gets behind a desk, and he's kind of got this dude with him, and there's just a line that goes on forever. Okay? Forever. 2013. Okay? I'm like, man, I'm not waiting in line. Not waiting in line. Just not doing it. And I kind of just stand around. I'm lingering Larry. I know he sees me at one point looking at him, and he just smiles. And I've heard all this stuff about Tito. Anybody that knows Tito, everybody has a Tito story. I like him a lot. So anyways, he sees me, kind of smiles, and then he puts his arm around a couple guys, and he takes some photos, and he's signing some autographs or whatever. And I kind of subscribe to how Brendan Schaub says, like, never meet your heroes because they'll let you down. And that couldn't have been any more not true for Tito Ortiz. It really could. I'm serious. He treated me like I was someone special. So we'll get to that in a minute. Like, I had a moment with Tito, too. Oh, do you have a moment with Tito? I didn't think so. I do. So the line dwindles down. I'm not really big in pictures anyways. Like, I always feel weird being like, hey, man, can I get a picture with you? Hey, man, can I get your autograph? What am I going to do with it? I'm going to lose it, right? And I have my little slip, my little card, and I thought, man, he could just autograph the card. Wouldn't that be cool? But I didn't. I was just walking. He's walking. He doesn't have security around him. He doesn't have a ton of people around him. And he's just him and one other dude. And they're walking to the post-fight presser. We got this long hallway. And, like, to the left of us are, like, restaurants. To the right of us is the casino floor. And, like, we're passing some restaurants. And I finally look over and I was like, man, I got to shoot my shot. That's Tito. And I look over and I said, hey, champ. Been a long-time fan of yours. When I was a little kid, my father and I bonded over, like, UFC 3 on VHS. I still have that VHS. I said, but you brought me back into this sport with your rivalry of Chuck Liddell. And, man, Tito came over, and he shook my hand, and he put his arm around me for a moment, kind of gives me, like, one of those side hugs. And he was like, he just smiles. He's like, what's your name? Now, we're walking at this point again, and I tell him my name. I'm Tiger. He's like, man, that's awesome. It's really nice to meet you. Thanks for saying those nice things about me. Did you enjoy the fight tonight? And, like, we're walking and talking. He's going to the press fight. And I'm like, yeah, I really did. I enjoyed the fights tonight, you know. And man, he small talked with me all the way to the door. He didn't treat me like some low fan. He didn't treat me like he had other places to be. He didn't treat me like this isn't where he wanted to be. He treated me like a person, like a friend, like a friend. Like I'm friends with Tito Ortiz. That's how he treated me. Highlight of my night. I got to hold hands with Cris Cyborg and Tito Ortiz became my best friend. What'd you do April 5th, 2013, huh? I became best friends with Tito Ortiz and held hands with Cris Cyborg. Nah, man, for real. Anyone that goes bad on Tito really gets under my skin. It irks me. He was such a great guy, and he didn't have to be. He could have, the whole story could have went, hey, Tito, blah, 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 blah. And he could have went, yeah, hey, cool story, kid. Yeah, that is a cool story. No, man, he asked me my name. He walked with me, small talked, became my best friend. That's awesome. And I appreciate it. And I've always remembered it. And that's how I remember Tito Ortiz. So if fighting this WWE guy is something that you want to do, I will tune in. If it's free, I'll watch it. If I have to pay to watch it, I will watch it. Been a longtime fan of yours, man. You've done more for this sport than you realize. You're a great guy. You treated me good when you didn't have to. You let me hold hands with your client without beating me up. Dude, I'm rooting for you. Whatever the heck you do in life, I'm rooting for you, man.